Hi, my name is Simon, and I've just been put on furlough. So what the f am I supposed to do with all my time? Well, I'm going to try and learn some of my favourite tunes and then recreate those recordings. Let's rock! So why Velvet Revolver? Slash rocks, Scott rocks, Duff rocks, Slash rocks. Back in 2004 when this song first came out, I just absolutely loved it. It was two of my favourite bands coming together, so Guns N' Roses and Stone Temple Pilots, and this song was just such an ace song. So how am I going to go about this? Well, first I need to learn the song, then I need to go and record the drums, record the bass, record the guitars. I'm not going to bother with the vocals, no one needs to hear that, so let's get on with it. So, I'm already pretty familiar with the song. I mean, it's been out 16 years, right? I'm fairly certain I know the main riff, but I'm going to need some help with the rest of the song, especially the slash parts. There are plenty of online resources. One of my go-tos is Ultimate Guitar. They have tons and tons of tabs on there. But recently I've been using an online app from songster.com. And it's got this really cool playback function where you can listen to the song and it plays along with the tab. You can also repeat certain sections, so bits you're having difficulty with, you can just keep going back. But it also has all the different instruments on there. So you have the rhythm guitar, you have the solo guitar, you have the bass guitar in there. So I can learn all them different sections, which is really cool. I think the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to learn the main riff and the rhythm sections, and then I'm just going to get into recording. So let's get into Pro Tools. Drums. Now, I'm a guitarist, which means I ain't a drummer. I know nothing about drums, I can't play drums, I don't even have a drum kit. But I'm going to need a drum track before I can start recording all my guitars. So what the f am I going to do? Well, welcome to Easy Drummer 2. Okay, so this is Easy Drummer. It's basically a software drum kit, and it is freaking awesome. Each one of these drums corresponds to one of the pads on my MIDI controller, so basically I can play drums. I need some reference material, so I went onto YouTube, because YouTube has everything, and I found this geezer who's doing a cover of Slither. And what's really cool about this video is I can see exactly what drums he's hitting, and he's got his kick drum there as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it a section at a time. Start with the kick drum, listen to what the guy's playing, and then literally just do it a drum at a time. So let's have a look at the first part just after the intro. Do 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 do. Right, let's arm this. Got a metronome on. Right, being a guitarist, not a drummer, I was so freaking out of time then. So what I'm going to do is I shall quantize it. 16th note, apply that. Come on, do your thing, and then hopefully that should be perfect. Sweet. This is as good as drums I'm ever going to play. So what I'll do is I shall go through, add the snare, add the hi-hat, add the cymbals, and maybe in about 3 weeks time I'll have something that resembles Matt Sorum's drums. And what else is really cool on Easy Drummer is that you can swap out snares for real snares. I mean, in here we've got like a Ludwig Black Beauty, a Ludwig Superphonic, and I can actually, if I wanted to, go find out what Matt Sorum was playing on the album and then see whether I've got a drum that either sounds the same or is the same drum, because these have all been recorded in the studio by real musicians. So these samples are absolutely fantastic, and they also, depending on how hard you hit the pad, the drum will correspond with that. So absolutely fantastic bit of software. Gets me out of trouble anyway. Awesome. See you in a few days' time. You have absolutely no idea how long those drums took. Anyway, finally we're on to guitars. So I'm going to start with the bass. And I'm going to be using my trusted Schecter Rob DeLeo signature 5-string bass. Now obviously I don't need the 5 strings, but it's the only bass I've got, so I have no choice. But this is a wicked guitar, absolutely love it, really cool looking beast, and should do the job. Right, so basically I'm playing this, which goes into my Focusrite 1st generation 2i2. That goes into the back of my PC, and then that goes into Pro Tools. Now I have a bass channel set up here, which I'm using a bit of software called Bias FX2, which is basically an amp modeling piece of software. Really cool piece of software, and I'll go into more detail when I start recording the rhythm guitar. But needless to say, it's a really cool thing, and I've got it patched up from a patch I've downloaded, which is called Duff 2018, so I kind of guessed it would sound something like Duff. And he's using Gallien-Kruger amps here with a Fender Super Bass as well, so it kind of makes me think should sound like Duff. It's got an EQ, a compressor on here, and it's also got a sort of chorus effect on there as well, and sounds okay to me. I've looked at the tab, and it's fairly straightforward. Luckily Duff keeps it fairly straightforward, and there's no slapping going on or anything like that, so I should be okay to play this piece. I'm going to record it all in one go rather than doing it in little sections. I mean, the whole point of this is to learn the song, so it seems pointless doing it pieces at a time. But obviously if I screw up at any point, which is bound to happen, I shall overdub those little bits. But on the whole, I'm going to try and get it all the way through. So yeah, let's get on with it. Right, well, on the whole, I'm quite happy with that. I'm not going to lie, there's definitely going to be some overdubs on that, but generally got through that okay. So now on to the guitars. Right then, guitars, finally. Well, what am I going to use? We're going to do the rhythm section first. Dave Kushner is well known for his lovely Fernandez Ravel. I don't have one of those, so I'm going to have to use my wonderful Schecter C1 Classic. Oh, I absolutely adore this guitar. It's a mahogany body, maple cap, and what a cap it is. Absolutely stunning. And we have two Seymour Duncan pickups here. We've got the 59 and the Jazz. So I think this should be able to do the job quite well. Now I'll be going from this into my Focusrite 2i2 and then into Pro Tools. Now I have a channel set up for my rhythm guitar here, and I'm using Bias FX2. Now this really is a cool piece of software. It's an amp modeling piece of software that has virtually every amp known to man. And on top of that, we have every effect known to man as well. And you know, just about anything I can think of is going to be available. And on top of that, you can download presets. So there are many presets up on their Tone Cloud. There'll be ones for Slash. There's probably stuff for Dave Kushner even. But I've been messing around for a bit, and I've found something that's fairly cool. It's called Blue Oyster Cult. I can't really tell what amps it's using apart from the Plexi. I'm not entirely sure what that is, but it sounds pretty cool and should do the job. Now one of the other cool things in Bias FX is it has this thing called Guitar Match, and what this allows me to do is change my guitar from being my Schecter C1 to a 57 Gold Top reissue Les Paul. How cool is that? Or I'm guessing that's a Sur or a PRS. And we have loads on it. I mean, we've got 335s. Not sure what kind of telly that is, but vintage Strats. It's incredible. And what you do is you have to play a series of notes in through a setup, and you do your neck, your middle, and your bridge, and that saves your guitar down, and then from there you can change into other guitars. It really does work. You do hear the difference when you change these guitars. So when I get to doing the Slash parts, I'm going to use the 57 Gold Top reissue. Why wouldn't you? So yeah, there we go. So let's get on to recording the rhythm guitars. Right then, yeah, pretty chuffed with that. There's definitely going to be a couple of overdubs. I'll just cut them in. and then on to the next guitar. Okay, so I just finished recording the other rhythm guitar, which is supposedly Slash's rhythm part. It's very similar to Dave Kushner's, a little bit simpler. So now I'm going to move on to Slash's fill parts. Now these are just little parts that have been overdubbed and are dotted throughout the song. I'm going to record them at the desk here rather than trying to record it all in one go, because there are only small parts dotted around. I'm going to use the Schecter again, but of course on Bias FX I'm going to use the guitar match and use the Les Paul. Sweet, let's get on with it. Right then, so I found where the first fill is. It's just after the intro and before the first verse. But I'm going to start recording from the beginning of the section so I can get into the groove. So yeah, let's have a go. I think that went all right. Let's have a listen back to that. Yeah. Wow. First go. I'm impressed. Right, on to the next fill. Right, let's have a go at this bit that's on the chorus section. So I've found the part I need to record. So let's just get on with it. Well, straight away. Sweet, shuffle that. On to the next bit. Okay, so the next part is Slash's solo. So I'm going to end this video here for now, and then make the next video me doing the solo. It's going to take a bit of doing, I think. I've just listened back to it and realised just how freaking awesome it is. What was I thinking? I mean, it's Slash. What was I thinking? Anyway, that's going to be the next video. As for this video, I've really enjoyed learning the parts and recording the parts. It's been really cool. And I think in these times of being on furlough, I think it's good to keep busy and keep being creative. If you have any questions about the video whatsoever, just drop me a message down below. And if you fancy, like and subscribe. See you in the next one.